అది డిసెక్టేషన్ సీజన్ నేను అది ఓకే అక్కడ రాదు అక్కడ వస్తుంది ఓయ్, అక్కడికి సెకండ్
Welcome to the journey of Vishwa Foundation, an organization dedicated to bringing positive change to society every single day. In just 1,176 days, since its inception in May 2021, Vishwa Foundation has grown into a beacon of hope and change. Vishwa Talks is an online platform inspiring people to participate in social change by hosting experts who share insights on diverse topics every Saturday.
Namaste. Vishwa is an organization which works towards building the grassroots levels of India. The first step we take towards that is to build an awareness. We work in different causes from education, health, art and culture to 12 other causes. On every Saturday at 11 a.m., we have a talk on these various topics. For example, when it comes to health, India has a rich source of Ayurvedic treatments, alternative medicines like Ayurveda, homeopathy, Siddha, naturopathy. At a time when India is leading in diabetes, heart attacks, cancer, we have preventive medication which can be used. So a lot of talks have come out where people can use household items to prevent some of these or to control some of them. Our grandmothers were a rich source of information. Our parents knew a little lesser than that. And we know a lot lesser than that. And perhaps our children may never get that heritage. Here at Vishwa, we have people who tell us how to use the household items like curry leaves or neem or lemongrass for what ailments, etc. Similarly, we have talks on art and culture. We would like to have our Indians to be united, be one, be proud of their culture, their heritage. We have a lot of talks where people from various walks of life have come forward and spoken about various buildings, various dance forms, etc. These are two examples I have given. We cover 12 causes like this in our Vishwa Talks. As a first step, we want to bring in awareness among the coming generation. Our audience is across the country and sometimes abroad too. We have a rich interactive session after the talk is given by the expert. It's for any person who watches these talks to decide what they want to believe in, what they don't want to believe in, and if they have any clarifications, they're free to ask questions. After this, we want to build the skills of the people of India. Today, India is on the cusp of moving into one of the top countries of the world. But unfortunately, the skills of our people do not match our aspirations. Here at Vishwa, we started out in a small way. We started with computer training. Fortunately for us, Rotary and some people have donated computers to us. We teach 10th class students, inter students and degree students so that when they go for jobs, they don't get rejected. We teach the basics like Excel, Doc, ChatGPT, how to market. The basics we teach, because most of them cannot afford computers and they have no access to them. And similarly, we have something called celebrations. Celebrations is celebrating your loved ones on their anniversaries, on their birthdays, on their death anniversaries. You could contribute to any of the causes that Vishwa showcases on its platform, vishwa.org. You could, Annadanam for instance. There are a lot of people across the country who, when they go to hospitals, they come up from far-off regions and they little money they have, they keep it aside for the treatment of the patient. They sleep on platforms, they hardly eat anything. And we give them food every afternoon on Fridays and it makes a lot of difference. There are similar such fundraisers. Please feel free to celebrate your loved ones with any of these causes.
Vishwa's commitment towards zero waste and the long way to go in achieving the goal begins with our material donation drive. Conducted twice a year during Diwali and Ugadi in Hyderabad, this drive collects clothes, books, toys, and other used or semi-used items for the underprivileged. Contributions from over 615 plus families have benefited around 2,800 individuals, providing essential items and support, bringing hope and dignity to them. Through these efforts, we transform the waste of some into the treasure of others, promoting sustainability and community welfare.
Namaskaram. A very good morning and welcome to Vishwa Talks. My name is Trishant and I thank you all for attending today's event on Zoom and to those watching on YouTube Live. For those of you who have attended a Vishwa Talk before, a warm welcome back, and for our new joinees, here's a little bit about us. Vishwa Talks is a program to create awareness amongst people and to make a positive impact in the society. Here we invite experts to discuss and explore diverse opinions, different perspectives, various issues, problems, and their solutions on various fields, including art and culture, healthcare, environment and ecology, education, and many more. We have covered over 180 talks. Each webinar is an interactive session with a deeper understanding of the topic at hand. If you miss any part of the session or would like to go through the previous sessions, please visit our website vishwa.org or Vishwa Talks YouTube channel. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this special edition where we have the privilege of listening to two extraordinary women, each a leader, a change maker, and a passionate advocate for the well-being of our communities. We are delighted to first welcome DCP Shilpa Valli, a trailblazing officer of the Indian Police Service with a solid academic foundation in computers, management, law, and a diploma in criminal justice and data analytics from IIT Kanpur. She is also an IVLP alumna from the United States in crisis and disaster management. DCP Shilpa Valli has held several impactful postings, serving as SDPO, DSP in ACB and Intelligence, additional SP at Rachakonda, and as DCP for Madhapur, the Detective Department, and IT in Hyderabad. She currently serves as the DCP of Central Zone, Hyderabad City Police. But beyond the uniform and accolades, what stands out is her unwavering commitment to building a safe and healthy future for the next generation. As DCP of Madhapur, she has initiated school safety clubs in over 45 schools, reaching thousands of students and their parents with crucial guidance on physical safety, digital well-being, mental health, and substance abuse prevention. We are deeply honored to have her with us today, bringing the perspective of a public serviceman who works at the intersection of law enforcement, education, and community empowerment. And it's my pleasure to introduce our second speaker, Dr. Devika Rani, a synonymous with dedication in the field of substance use prevention and mental health. With over 24 years in experience as a therapist, trainer, researcher, and prevention specialist, Dr. Devika is the director and founder of Amrita Foundation Society, a leading NGO working on de-addiction and rehabilitation since 2009. She is an international certified addiction professional, a global master trainer with UNODC, and a universal prevention specialist under the Colombo Plan. She works closely with law enforcement, government bodies, and communities across Telangana, especially through de-addiction programs under the Hyderabad Police Commissionerates, Excise Department, and the Narcotics Bureau. She has been honored with prestigious awards including International Prevention Leadership Award, a doctorate in substance use prevention from Chicago Open University, and a special recognition award for excellence in prevention efforts. Together, Dr. Devika Rani and DCP Shilpa Valli represent two powerful yet complementary forces: care and courage, healing and protection. Their collective work has inspired countless individuals, shaped public policy, and built bridges between community, law, and mental awareness. We are truly privileged to have them with us today to share their journeys, insights, and impactful work. So please join me in giving a warm virtual round of applause to Dr. Devika Rani and DCP Shilpa Valli. As we dive into today's discussion, I would like to inform our audience that our speakers will be taking questions from you after the main talk. So please leave your questions in the chat box or use the raise hand tool, and we will allow you to ask a question in person. I request you to turn on your webcam for the interactive part of the webinar. Kindly keep the questions concise and on point. You can state your opinions and perspective in the chat box. So without further ado, let's welcome DCP Shilpa Valli, Ashish and Dr. Devika Rani as they share their inspiring journey and valuable insights into empowering youth against drug abuse, understanding risks, recognizing signs, and building a drug-free future together. Over to you, DCP ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. So I speak to you today not just as a police officer, but as someone who has seen up close the devastating effects of drug abuse on young lives, lives with so much promise, derailed by just one wrong choice and a wrong turn. The title of today's webinar, which is Breaking the Chain, is really powerful because drug abuse is exactly that, a chain. It starts with a curiosity, it grows with peer pressure,
Mama.
it tightens with addiction, and often ends in crime, broken families, devastated lives, and ultimately a tragedy. But here's the truth, this chain can be broken, and all of us, especially the youngsters, hold the key. So, why are we talking about the youngsters? Because they are the target and they are also the solution. So the drug mafia doesn't want strong minds or brave hearts. It wants followers or addicts, people it can control. And sadly, many young people fall into this trap, not because they are weak, but because most of them don't see what's coming. That's why we are here to ensure you see it, the youngsters understand it, so that they don't become just another story or number in the police files. What I see in the field is many bright students, many repenting or uh, grieving parents, uh, doubting teachers. What has gone wrong? And not understanding what is wrong with all of them or what is going on. They feel so helpless, heartbroken, and they have no clue what's going on. And I've seen how young people really lose the vitality in the most, productive years of their lives. Of course, I have also seen young people. I have also heard many stories from Dr. Devika, how they have again taken control, said no, and walked away, and even helped others recover. That's the youth India needs. So let's talk about the legal perspective of. Do you want me to share the PPT or I can just speak? Okay, I'll share
Either
the
ways, ma'am. It'll be great if you can share the PPT too.
I'll share the PPT. Yes, so here we see the extent to which the
Ma'am,
youth of India is affected. Around
sorry, could
16
you just
crore.
maximize your screen? Like put it in
Yeah.
a slideshow. Yes. Thank you so much.
So we see that 16 crore are alcohol users. So you must be wondering why we have added alcohol in the drug abuse topic. Because as to the wonder of many, probably, the starting point for drug abuse is tobacco and alcohol, which we kind of, normalize a lot in our country. But as a police officer, seeing many stories and working closely with Devika Rani, who has been an expert in this aspect, I am completely convinced, and also from my personal observation, that tobacco and alcohol are the starting points of drug consumption. And they're also considered drugs. Now, uh, we see that we see the number of alcohol users, we see how many of those 3.1 CR are cannabis users. The kind of opioid dependency is 2.6% of the individuals who are already into drug abuse. And 18 lakh children need help because most of them are now, they're into inhalants or uh, misusing the prescription drugs. Now, this drug use is alarming not just in urban areas, but the saddest part is that it is extending to the rural areas also, affecting all socioeconomic groups. Now, the reasons why youngsters are particularly at risk is peer pressure and curiosity, mental health issues, mostly out of family situations like single parent or disputes between the parents or lack of attention from the family. There is nobody to share and care in the family. Now, also easy access to substances because of the access through digital medium, whether it is social media or WhatsApp groups. All these are making the availability of substances also easier. And lack of awareness and the fear of being left out when they are in a group, the fear of being left out, or they don't know, they might start using cigarettes or e-cigarettes as a fashion, or just because the other friends are using it. So these are the basic reasons. Now there are several warning signs like behavioral shifts, academic decline, social withdrawal, financial strain, physical indicators, which when we only pay attention to these kind of um, warning signs, uh, whether it is a family, whether it is siblings, friends, or teachers, those who are closely associated with the person, that they can recognize these warning signs. That is why it is important that we pay attention to what is happening. That is why communication is important. That is why, you know, speaking speaking out, seeking help is important. I'm not touching more upon these psychological aspects because Devika would be dealing more with it. Now, consequences of drug abuse, it has a multifaceted effect, including the physical health deterioration, mental health crisis, the social disintegration. Now, of course, what I deal with is the legal repercussions. Speaking about the legal repercussions, I would say for you to broadly understand, there are traditional crimes, there are white collar crimes. Traditional crimes are those which are affecting a particular individual. Like a theft occurs, it happens to an individual person. A murder occurs, it happens to a person affected. But white collar crimes or socioeconomic crimes are such that they affect the whole society. It has a larger ramifications like smuggling, illicit human trafficking, cheating cases where you see number of people getting affected, and crimes related to drugs. Let me tell you, in the across the world, after illegal arms trade, illegal trafficking drugs is the second largest crime that happens. And add to it the volume of trade that happens under the, like in the darknet. Now, of course, these are operated through gangs or cartels, which also operate across not just states, they operate across the countries. You must have heard about the um, Golden Triangle, the Crescent, all these. Now, in India, we have a beautiful act called NDPS Act 1985. I call it a beautiful act because not just it tackles with drug law enforcement, but because this is such an act which has been carefully drafted, systematically drafted, which, when implemented in letter and spirit, it definitely leads to conviction of the offenders in these cases. So it has 83 sections, and it also has a schedule which deals with the list of psychotropic substances which the act deals with. Now, one important feature of this act is that in India, the criminal jurisprudence system holds the accused innocent until proven guilty. But in NDPS Act, the beauty is that, I will say the beauty because it helps in the prosecution and jurisprudence, criminal jurisprudence. The accused is guilty until proven innocent, that the onus is on himself to prove his or her innocence. That should strike to all of you that it is so difficult for an individual to prove his innocence when the whole system has gone according to the act and has put everything on paper from search to arrest on paper as per the act. You should understand that legal complication or difficulty for the individual to prove his innocence. Now, there were some changes brought through amendment to this act in 88, which has introduced death penalty under section 31A. Please remind me if I'm towards the prescribed time. So death penalty where an offender is tried second time after he is already convicted. Now there is also a section introduced called 32A, which means that the sentence awarded as per this act, it cannot be suspended, remitted, or commuted. See, in normal cases, you hear that the convicted persons go for an appeal, or they put a representation to the governor or the president of India for suspension of the sentence or remission or commutation, that is decrease in the sentence or decrease in the or complete exoneration from the punishment. So this kind of provision is not available for the sentence that is awarded under this act. Now there are special courts that are constituted for trying these offences, and these offences are cognizable and non-bailable. The bail provisions under this act are very stringent. And there is also another section that is provided through this amendment, that is 64A, which provides immunity from prosecution to an addict on condition that if he is willing to go for, some specified number of counseling sessions, then he is given immunity from prosecution. This is a chance given to the consumers, only consumers. This is a chance given to consumers to, uh, you know, uh, not get into the clutches of prosecution and all, but giving them a chance to reform themselves. This is a reformative provision that is added through this act. Now, rest all are like the forfeiture of property derived from or used in illicit traffic, and new chemicals or precursor chemicals are also included in the schedule. Now, another change that has been brought in through amendment to, I think law is always a dry subject, but I'm just going through all these provisions to let you know that this is the kind of stringent law that we have in our country, and it is advisable for people to know about law because ignorance is not an excuse in our criminal jurisprudence. We can't say that we are not aware of this. You have to be aware of the basic laws, especially the youngsters. When you know what kinds of sources are there to procure drugs, you should also know what kind of punishments are there for usage or even possession of such drugs. So now the gradation of punishment depends on the quantity of drug involved, which means if you have a certain small amount of drug, it is rigorous imprisonment up to 6 months and the fine is 10,000 or both. As you see on the slide, I'll quickly go through. Medium quantity, you have punishment is rigorous imprisonment up to 10 years and with a fine of 1 lakh. And the commercial quantity attracts rigorous imprisonment not less than 10 years and up to 20 years and with fine not less than 1 lakh and up to 2 lakhs. Now these, I'll just quickly cover that, which the act punishes the production, manufacture, distribution, including warehousing, transport, purchasing, selling, even any owner or occupier knowingly permitting his premises or a means of conveyance for the use of commission of the offense. I would also add, for the benefit of the youngsters or the benefit of elders to educate their youngsters, that in the following sections we see that even if you uh, finance or harbor an offender or attempt to commit an offense, even an attempt to commit an offense or abetment and criminal conspiracy or preparation. See, there are various stages of commission of an offense, and at every stage, the punishment is the same as for the offense. It is not lesser. It is the same as, it is equivalent, it is as good as committing the offense. And I would like to give an example for section 27, for section 28 and 29, where there are a group of friends. They go to a party. Four of them have the drugs. One of them doesn't have the drug, but he knows very well that the rest of the four are having. He cannot claim that he is not part of the group of friends who is consuming drugs. He comes under the criminal conspiracy because he has neither reported, he has neither abstained from going there, he has neither come back after knowing that they have taken. He also is punishable under abetment and criminal conspiracy. That is why choosing friends and friend circle is very important. I have covered about this death penalty and suspension and remission, cognizable and non-bailable, and the power of entry, search, seizure, and arrest without warrant or authorization. You should understand that the police or any department like central excise, narcotics, customs, revenue intelligence, paramilitary forces, armed forces, on like where it is empowered by the central government or any officer of the state government as empowered by it, are they have the powers of this entry, search, seizure, and arrest without warrant, and also power of seizure and arrest in public place. So these are all the various sections or provisions that we have in our Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Prevention Act. So this NDPS Act, as we call NDPS Act of 1985, this is the comprehensive act which deals with the possession or consumption or transport, all aspects of drug abuse. So after this, I would like to go looking at all this. I or also, as Vishwa Talks has also started saying that a lot of problems, instead of facing all these, prevention is always better than cure. So prevention is power, awareness is also the most crucial part of anti-drug abuse campaign. Apart from the police taking up various drives against the cartels, against the gangs, against the supply chains, against the peddlers. An important role that the police also takes part in is spreading awareness about the the drug abuse, substance abuse. So all these will have education and awareness campaigns in schools, colleges to inform youngsters, life skills trainings. That is, it is to build life skills, to build the self-esteem, to improve the confidence, to let them enable to say no when somebody is forcing them to take drugs or getting them into drug abuse. Open conversations too, not to have any kind of stigma to talk about drug abuse within the family or with friends, or even seeking support from uh, support groups or the NGOs or the police also. And early intervention, yes, there may be occasions when there can be unknowingly or unintentionally, people might get into the substance abuse. But knowing that, realizing that it is wrong, that they have to seek help, and somebody from the family or somebody from the school or from somebody from the office recognizing that this person needs some kind of help, and immediately getting into early intervention is a very effective way of getting people get out of this substance abuse. Now, there are various government and community initiatives at the central level. We have the Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, which is being uh, taken up by at the national level, and various awareness programs and intervention efforts are being taken across India. And in Telangana specifically, the government has uh, established a special organization specializing in narcotic and Narcotics and Anti-Drug Abuse, which is called TGNAB. And they have a toll-free helpline number, which is 1908. Sorry for the number in the figure, but it is actually 1908. And the TGNAB mobile number is 871-267-1111. So this is a toll-free line. You can anybody can call to this number. It will be the details will be confidential. They can seek de-addiction support. They can give information about something about drug abuse going on in their neighborhood or some in a school or with respect to any social media campaign that is going on. That also can be tipped off on these numbers. Then peer-led programs. We have several school-based awareness drives, like as Trishant was giving in the introduction, along with Devika, we have started in Cyberabad, the commissionerate under the leadership of the then Commissioner Stephen Ravindra sir, school safety clubs and anti-drug committees in the schools and colleges. When we found that the anti-drug committees were also not taken well because of the name, which sounds anti-drug abuse, it doesn't sound well with the schools and managements and the parents. So we converted it into school safety clubs, where we had 4 verticals which dealt with physical safety, digital well-being, anti-drug abuse, and mental health. So if you see, physical safety is related to anti-drug abuse. Digital well-being is also related to anti-drug abuse. Mental health is also related to anti-drug abuse. That is how we have intertwined all these 4 verticals. Of course, the rest of the 3 verticals cover even, they have a larger scope. But when we see in the context of anti-drug abuse, we try to, have a overall view of how all these also are either causing or affected by the drug abuse. So how you can help? The very purpose of being here, each one of us, is that we can be a catalyst for change, like how as an individual or as a professional or as an organization like Vishwa. So Vishwa Talk, like we all can make a change, be a catalyst for change by being a part of the various awareness campaigns. So we have to be informed. All of us should know. We should know so that we don't get to it. We should know that we educate our family members, we educate our neighbors, we educate our relatives, our colleagues, our friends about the risks and how to speak about it. And we also need to support the friends. When we say peer pressure leads youngsters into drugs, there are also friends who support these people not to get into this. There are good and bad everywhere. So when we should know to whom to keep at a bay, and we should also know whom to uh, uh, talk to, whom to seek support from. Now, also join campaigns. There are several campaigns that are being run physically or online. So please participate in all these campaigns. We are also launching the school safety clubs again in Hyderabad City Police. Also from this Monday, we're starting with AV College in Domalguda, where the Commissioner of Police also would be probably joining. I still need to take his thing, but Collector will also be joining, Collector Hyderabad. She's also very keen in joining this drug awareness campaigns. So the school safety clubs will again be launched, which will speak about drug abuse, which will seek the youngsters to come and join, youngsters to help spread the word amongst the community, in the community, in their neighborhood, and among the youngsters also. Now, also say no and help others. So when we have to say no, we need to be confident, we need to be informed, we need to understand that saying no is not rejecting a person, but we are rejecting a choice that would lead us to a wrong direction in our life. Then only when we are informed of the risks, only when we are informed about the dangers of getting into a certain path, do we take healthy choices. That is all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the PPT
Join the
and your
movement.
insights, ma'am.
Together we can bring the change.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insights. I'm going to call upon Dr. Devika ma'am to take the session forward.
Yeah,
Good
good
morning,
morning,
ma'am.
everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
I all can you all can see the screen, right?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay, so I choose the topic as strong mind, safe choices. It's a collective stand, as just now ma'am has ended with this note. A collective stand against substance use. Here we are in this platform. We wanted to empower students, youth, parents, and teachers with the knowledge and action. So I'm giving lot of material to Trishan so that he can circulate it, because within the given time, I don't think I can complete discussing about all the aspects, but I'll try my best.
Ma'am, our request is please complete your talk completely. I know we might get overrun the time, but I'm sure people will be happy to hear you complete.
Oh, then it's fine. Yeah, I will not run. Okay, why this matters, this topic? Because if you see the global statistics, it's a I think on 26th UNODC have released a report. If you happen to go through it, you can see that there is a 8% increase in the usage, the first time users of this substance use globally. And not only that, post-COVID, if you understand the statistics, there is something called new psychoactive substances. We all are aware about the traditional drugs. A few of the messages I have been going through. But the world has evolved in such a way where the youngsters, they found the new trends. Like new psychoactive substances, we talk about there's designer drugs or synthetic drugs, which are not a traditional drugs, what we are aware, like cocaine, heroin, and all that. I'm not going to name more. But this is a global concern. Not only that, in India is on par with it. Ma'am has shown one slide where about the 2.6% of opioid users. You all know that opioid is used as a medicinal drug, right? So this is a over-counter drug and the prescription drug abuse, which is a growing concern. And India is superseded the statistics globally. That is very alarming, I would say. And not only that, here I want to say when new psychoactive substances recently, I'm from Hyderabad, so I saw a lot of people from different places in India. We have a student community where the students have learned about how to produce the new synthetic drugs and make edibles in sense like eatable, or you can bring. So it is like you morph it or you change the form of that particular drug, and technology is being used in order to spread the information about the availability and accessibility. That is again another concern. So it is quite challenging. And the second point I would say, definitely, yeah, understanding these trends, definitely we need to come together in order to uh, prevent, because we can save a lot of lives and save a lot of money. If I shared about the few of the cases in future slides, I'm going to talk about how painful it is for the caretakers of the children who are into this substance use. So when we say youth are most at risk and they are vulnerable, I'm also giving the resource UNODC, WHO. You just can go through these sites and then check on these statements so you can understand. So a lot of prevention programs or evidence-based programs we are doing because we don't want to get into the as ma'am has informed, early intervention, because if we don't do that, we are looking at the damage and the disability, and then we are rehabilitating, and it is a kind of a tiresome thing. And not only that, we need to understand, once a person in this disease called addiction or a chemical dependency or a substance use disorder, what we term or label it right now, the kind of the investment of energy and the therapeutical approach, it cannot help the person to sustain in recovery. There is always, it's a relapse prone diseases, we say. So ma'am has covered about this. I'll also cover in one of the slides about the risk factors, why youth are at risk. And next one, I just named few of the drugs, but I would say narcotic drugs, and there are n number of, I would say more than 1,000 varieties of drugs are available in the market right now. But I will categorize them that there are legal drugs and illegal drugs. When we're talking about legal drugs, many questions again I saw in that chat box. Tobacco, alcohol, they are the gateway, what we call gateway of drugs. Once a person starts initiative, there are n number of other substances they can get, use or abuse or addicted or to these kind of substances. My role as a psychologist in a prevention programs, I focus most on how much the drugs have an impact on body and brain, and the vital organ brain, which is very important for any person in their progressive period. So students, especially the children, when we are talking, adolescents when you're talking, and this is we see that age group, the average age is like 10 to 12 years, where we see the cases who are being using the drugs. It means imagine up to 25 years of age, there is the brain still in a developmental stage. And mostly during that phase, our behavior is, the children's or adolescent behavior is operated by the emotional part of the brain or an impulse part of the brain. So when we are talking about the impact on the brain, it means the brain, the next slide talks about how what is the cognitive damage it causes. And we all know that the cognitive abilities like learning, decision making, memory, judgment, all these are the important aspects at that point of age. When it impact on this, drugs affect this part of the brain, the cognitive, that's a prefrontal cortex, we call it as. And that is the time they are unable to utilize their full potential of their cognitive abilities. And imagine how much it can impact their life. And forever, we see the children, as ma'am has talked about the consequences, academic decline. When there is no academics and when there is, see, our brain is very important for us to survive, sustain, and then progress well in our life. So when it is, getting affected like this, definitely we see a lot of people losing up their potential to live a healthy life. And when I'm talking about the body part, their immune system, especially the girl population, we see a lot of hormonal disturbances happening because of the drug use. And it's not just that generation. When there is a consistent use of drug use, we also see that has an impact on that. When they become pregnant, during the prenatal, they have issues, and after giving birth, the child also have the issues. We have seen a lot of children born with the withdrawals. When the mother who is pregnant and unable to give up addiction. So and also here I want to say that there is a contributing factor. There is a genetic predisposition. It means the parent, one of the parent is into the addiction, definitely that has higher chances for the child to acquire. Not just this factor, there are a lot of other contributing factors also. That is something which is a very important takeaway point from the slide, that the brain, which is very significant for in a developmental age. And this I'm not going to focus more because ma'am has covered about this part. There are many drugs, alcohol and tobacco are the drugs. You can just go to WHO website, and it is highlighting more, recent research say that we will focus on gateway of drugs, not the narcotic drugs, because that is where the whole problem starts. And because the prescription drugs are legal, that means that doesn't cause harm. Most of the people start using, misusing, abusing these prescription drugs. And this is many of the states, I think few people I'm seeing from Assam, so northeastern states, eastern states, and the northern states, we have a big menace of the prescription drug abuse. And when we look into the science of addiction, this is for every one of us to understand what happens to this, our brain. So I use the word here, a hijacking of the brain. So our brain functions based on our needs and survival. What happens is once the person starts consuming drugs, the brain functions are taken over by the drug. The happiness, again, if I use drug, I get happy. I have to use a drug in order to feel acquire normal sleep. I need to use drug in order to make myself at peace or relax. So this is a kind of the brain functions get hijacked because what happens here is there is something called dopamine and reward pathway. I will not complicate this. As simple as that, when I use any substance, something, it makes them feel good. So this is the neurotransmitter, or the some chemicals released in the brain. It happens with the natural activities, like you hug somebody, you listen to some very good news, like your child got first in the class, or the favorite team won the match. So these kind of things give us some kind of a happiness. So that is what is the neurotransmitter releases in our brain. And what happens here is, what is drug is doing, it is rewiring our brain, and it is making us the drug, and the word I use called high. A person who uses that particular substances, when these chemicals release, what it is happening, it is creating a reward pathway. It means it memorizes, hey, this particular activity you did, it is making me feel good. So I want to repeat that in order to feel good all the time. So that pathway is being established, and it takes time. It's not that overnight, because today use, next day. So usually in the initial phase, we see a person's using the substance. It takes, few days again. I just I want to feel good. Like you see the pattern, if you know anybody who's into the drug use, when we do the retrospective study, hey, from the first use, when it become a regular use, they will say, it started like regular use, like we want to enjoy, we want to have a party, like a group of students. This weekend we'll do something good, exciting. So that becomes a pattern of use. That is why, because my memory center has registered that which has given me immense happiness, and I want to repeat that activity. And when I'm talking about this neuroplasticity, I want to give an analogy, like, the adolescent brain is like a wet cement. Whatever new habits which will have an impressions in our brain, what is going to happen is, in a wet cement, if you disturb that, the kind of wiring of the brain, what happens is that whatever we do at those kind of those situations, what will happen is, those habits we try to register, and we try to repeat them over a period of time. So then the brain starts acquiring. So anything, I want to be content, I want to be happy, I want to be away from my sadness, I want to be away from loneliness. All the risk factors, what we mentioned, the stress, the problems, all these things, we feel that we got already acquainted with that kind of a habits, where I am feeling sad, my substance will make me forget about my sadness. I am feeling happy, to enhance my happiness 10 times, I want to use. So this is the way our brain starts acquiring those habits, registering them, keeping them in memory, and then we want to repeat it again and again. So why youth are susceptible, again, ma'am has covered, I don't want to discuss. But just looking at this, if you see, every aspect of our brain gets affected, especially I would say, I just want to say, cannabis users, they say, we have a super sensory perception. Like, why do you want to use here in Hyderabad, we use as ganja as a name. So why you want to use this? They'll say, when I use that, I feel I can hear clearly, I can experience the nature in a better way. So your sensation, not only that, a person who is consuming more alcohol, they don't experience the pain. So the pain center gets affected. Everything is hijacked. It mimics or it alters whatever our experiences, and it accommodates according to what the substance, whatever the drug we are using. Our coordination, our vision, the acuity will get affected. The movement becomes staggered. You see, the judgment gets impaired, and the reward gets, pathway gets more, what do you say, prominent here, because we repeat those behaviors again and again in order to seek the reward. This reward is, again, avoid pain and seek pleasure. This is the way our reward system works. and it registers all these information in our memory center, and it wants us to repeat it again and again. So this is what happens in our brain. And when I was talking about, see, all of us have rewarding behaviors, by these are the natural ones which I have cited here. But what happens with the drug is it is giving 10 times more than what the normal behavior, natural behaviors does. That is the reason if you see a person in addiction, you see that, hey, why your hobbies are no longer being pleasurable for you? Because they don't enjoy it. They don't enjoy their favorite food. They don't enjoy spending time with family. They don't enjoy working. All these were earlier the pleasurable activities for them. So that is an important indicator or a symptom for us to say, hey, this person is in substance use disorder, because all this reward is being taken over by this drug. So only the drug which makes them keep them happy, or that is again an illusion, but that is what the drug does and makes a person feel at that point of time. So we were talking about vulnerabilities, why youth, and ma'am has talked about it, but three important things which I wanted to focus on here is a low self-esteem. Lot of women cases when we interact, you have a negative self-image, you don't respect yourself, and you start seeing people, yourself from the other people's perspective. That is where we wanted to focus on in the young children, and we made that as one of the part of the life skill program. And many of the youngsters, because of the misinformation, when we give a talk in the school setting or educational institutions, UG or PG, the first thing they pick up the misinformation about the substance, and which is very much available in our social media, or even a Google search. So the authentic sites, that is another strong message we want to give, that anything you want to know about it is the right information. It can be NIDA, or it can be WHO, or NIMHANS in our MSJ in our country. And there is Manas helpline. I'm going to give that number. So this is about from the Ministry of Home Affairs. All these you have a right information, UNODC. So this information is authentic information. Whatever, you have to see the other side of the coin also. So, and the social acceptance, this is a peer influence, peer pressure, and not only that, easy access. Now the technology is ruling, and every child has access to. And we were talking about, ma'am has made 4 verticals and it is intertwined, is the word she has used. I would say that the technology, the digital platform is another thing which go hand in hand for a person. See, most of the people, children, they open up the vulnerabilities on a social media, and they get groomed by the predator, because one of the profiling where we have done, the peddler was grooming who are vulnerable. So it is easy, you're pouring your information or your daily activities on social media without understanding, you're showing a vulnerability to the predators. So this is where and the AI is another thing. What you search, it will keep on giving you the feeds accordingly. So this is another thing where the children, especially adolescent age, because you don't understand the depth of the kind of crimes happening. That is where digital well-being, where we were also addressing drug abuse crimes along with the cyber crimes. So this is something which we are focusing, and what makes a adolescent vulnerable apart from the other factors. Otherwise, for your information, I just want to say 3 P's. Always remember: pleasure, P, pressure, peer pressure, second, and the third is a problem situations. If we address, we can help the child to understand what are the alternate ways to seek pleasure in life. Those are, we call it as positive addictions. Peer pressure. So ma'am was also learning about assertive skills, which we again put it in a life skill curriculum. And the problem situations, you have to learn how to understand your problems, define your problems, identify, and then how to manage your problems, daily life problem. Because till we die, I think we are going to have our problems in our life, various problems pertaining to whatever the way we are going to live in future. but I have to learn how to identify, how to perceive it, and how to change it, or how to learn certain skills to deal with it. That is what is again a part of a life skill program. So here, when I say red flags and risk factors, who is at risk? How do we spot the signs? Here we call it as risk factors, temperament. If you see the child, we call it as again predisposing factors. It means there is a conduct disorders in children which are identified at a very early age. Early age, the tantrums, the child is very manipulative, hyperactive, and lack of sustenance of attention. These are the children you have to focus more, and they don't know how to control the emotions. Though here, again, if we want to look into the evidence-based practices in substance use prevention, we go as from prenatal, again, parenting. Parenting is one of the evidence-based practice. You have to teach a parent how to deal with your child and how to help the child to develop a positive skills. So here, or deal with their temperaments. So the personality, how you are shaping up, and we see again when we do retrospective, studies in the cases when we meet, there are all the red flags you see when the child is in adolescent age. He is like very aggressive, violent, defying, not breaking rules. Maybe he's not using substance, but all these are indicators that something is not okay with my child. Again, I've emphasized what ma'am said is mental health, substance use. Again, they are interlinked. So because when we said every drug affects the way they think, they feel, and they behave. So we see the behavior disorder, we see the emotional disturbances in adolescent age, and we all know that it's a part of their personality and then upbringing. But yes, it also leaves a lot of traces where, hey, we could address these things at that point of time to avoid these kind of problems in a later stage. That is the reason I'm talking in a prevention angle. And the family addiction is there, that is more vulnerable, because I said that there is a genetic disposition and availability in a community. That is what law enforcement agencies are taking care. But yes, and in the provisions, ma'am also has informed that when I'm aware of it, I'm not reporting it. It means I am encouraging or I'm becoming part of it. So when we know there is availability, we need to report in order to see that this problem doesn't exist, or as it is alleviated. Negative relations, negative self-image, abuse, neglect, and social media technology. And I would say these recent cases where we see a lot of behavior issues in children, the OTT platforms, and especially post-COVID, we see that has a different impact because of the glorification of the drug use. And the protective factors. So why we are understanding these two things is these we need to address it and try and modify, and these we need to enhance and make it stronger so that a person will make a right choice. And the discipline, that is healthy lifestyle, good self-expression. You have to spend time. Again, ma'am has emphasized on communication on a daily basis, not just like, I still remember there are 2 or 3 years, the UNODC has given a theme, communication, talk to your child. So why we have to give a year theme? It has to happen on a daily basis in our families, because otherwise we see a lot of my parents don't understand me. They don't know anything about me, and that is truth. Because we see parents are unaware of, like, the child is not going to college for 4 years and they are not aware of it. After the last year, they said he's been suspended, and they expected he finished his degree, and they realized from the first year he's not going. So where there is a problem here, because the parents didn't get any kind of doubt, because the child every day he goes out, but he comes back after the college hours. But what he's doing, they were not aware of it, because lack of pure communication here. And mental well-being also is important, and positive coping skills, self-esteem. So you have to enhance all this from the childhood. That is where it can help or shield them to these kind of problems in a later stages of their life. And impact on life, again, ma'am has focused on one slide on consequences. I'm not going to focus more on it. It is the same thing. We also see a lot of violence in the families where they reach out to the law enforcement agencies, or forcibly they want to admit them in a psychiatric unit because of the under the influence of substance. We have seen lot of children committing lot of crimes. We have cases where in the middle of the night they call and say, my son is like, asking for money, holding a knife in his hand, and we are scared. We locked ourselves in the room. Please help us. And they are so ashamed to call the law because the police comes and then it becomes a nuisance in the community where they live. And that is a kind of pathetic situation the family goes through when a person is under influence of substance. And we hear a lot of distressing stories. Yeah, I'll reach out. You can reach out anything you want to know more about this. I will leave out my number with Rishant later. But this is to highlight that drugs just don't harm the body or the person alone, but they shatter their lives, the people whoever are living with them. That's a kind of a thing which we see. In the photo, you can see Shilpali ma'am here. We have started, what is the role of students here? There is a UNODC program. Whoever is youngsters in this group who are listening to me or later they listen, you can become a smart influencer. See, peer pressure, when we are talking about, they can pressure the people to become positive also. So students as change agents, what again, emphasizing what ma'am has told. And this is where a 3 R's approach: refuse, resist, and report. Report is also very, very important. I also used to see, I'm in this field since 25 years. 2000, I have started my career. Whenever we were reaching to most of that, at that point of time, education and say, hey, this is not our problem. And when we say this is not our problem, it means we are letting the problem seep into our lives by not reporting. And that is where we see a lot of today, if we could have done that approach 10 years back, I don't think I would have been a jobless by this time. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So the reporting, resisting, that is assertive skills, refusing. And we are also focusing on that safety clubs, what ma'am has told to, that is educating the peers, empowering them with the right knowledge so that they can become a prevention influencers is what we believe. And it worked because it's an evidence-based practice. And we also have recently this month, June, it was anti-drug day or World Drug Day has come. So we have conducted week-long activities where we have launched media-based prevention programs also. So where the youth, there is an Insta Reel challenge you can influence others to get into a positive life or positive addictions. So this is something students can become part, they become a change agents. And this is Safety Club launch. Future, again, we will share what the work we have been doing and how we are progressing. And there are youth leaders also, youth power. There are a lot of youth initiatives, especially one I see Vishwa doing it. From bystanders, we become leaders. So youth also can lead the change. There is a program UNODC has launched, Friends in Focus, building life skills. This is the government of India has launched the life skills education. It's called peer-led intervention program. So the peers we empower with this book, they become it is an activity based. And we are trying to do that right now in our future launch of this club. And there are volunteer campaigns by UNODC. Uh, Listen First, Youth in Focus, Engaging Youth in Prevention. You can just go through the website. There are a lot. You can also become part of it if you are interested. And you can become part of it because we need more volunteers to go through this or make this program successful. There is a Manas helpline. This is by the National Narcotics Helpline by the NCB. And we have lot of local NGOs working on this issue. You can take part in any of these things and you can become leader. You can become, see the change what you want to see. And the parents, whoever is listening, I'm going to leave this slide, a part of the this PPT. But understanding, because we also educate the parents how to recognize the early signs, because most of the time we see the parents have missed out on that red flags, and they reach after all the damage and disability happened, and they land up in legal cases. That is where we see they're coming to seek help in rehabilitation. But that is a third level of prevention. We could avoid all that by recognizing early signs. So please do that if there is a sudden change in your behavior. Most of the parents think, hey, this is a part of the adolescent age. Let's not, focus more on it. Drop in academic performance. There is a loss of interest, the secretive behavior. Most of the time we see they lock up the doors and they listen to loud music. They sleep at wee hours and get up, late in the afternoon. Change of friend circle. We have seen one of the case where mother could see that, but she took 2 years of time to understand that that friend circle is somebody who is a peddler who's coming to her community and selling the drugs to the child, and then making the child also a carrier. So you notice it, but you don't want to highlight it because you felt, hey, why it affects my relationship with my child? Maybe she needs a change. So let us not deny, become blurred with but a love affection. Rather, see the things with clarity and objectivity, understand what's happening around us, and then be vigilant about it. So usually, we see lot of parents. They see that unusual smells, breath, and they also see that lot of powder leaves in their room, but they don't want to address it. They take lot of time because they don't want to. Uh, for them, the reality hurts. That is also another problem we see in parents where they don't reach out to help on time. Neglected appearance, missing valuables or money at home. So what you can do, you can talk to your child first. Most of the time when they know about this, the first thing I would say 2 days, 3 days back, the way the parents have approached the child is punitive attitude. You just lock up the child in the room, take away all the things. Instead of talking to the child, if you do that, you are losing your child for sure. uh, Immediately consult the school counselor or teacher. See that always parent has to collaborate with the school, because that is where, or the educational institution wherever your child, because the collaboration is very important. I always see there is a disconnect between parents and the school or a college. And college also, like the schools also used to say, hey, once they step out of our school, it's none of our business. So it cannot be that. It has to be a collective approach. We have to come together if we have to shape up our child, as a productive citizen. You have lot of helpline numbers I have given here. NIMHANS, it is in Bangalore, but here you can reach out to the local NGOs or the de-addiction centers. But ma'am has given a number. They also can redirect you to the local NGOs who are working. And you also can reach out to me if you want more information or any kind of help. But yes, this is what the parents need to do. They have to learn. There is something called a NIDA family check. Go through the website, how to talk about drugs with your children. Not just because you found out the child is using, but this is becoming, before the problem starts, you address this issue. Tell the child, let the child know the first information from you and the teacher. Previously, the schools and the at home also, they used about, hey, why unnecessary giving information about this? The child who doesn't have the information, now he will learn about it and he will start doing it. No, that is completely wrong. Let us not have that kind of perspective. Talk about it, communicate, you set boundaries, and you model healthy behaviors. We have seen children challenging parents. You don't stop doing, but you are preaching us. So see that what you say, let the child, let the family rules be. Maybe we may have to sacrifice because we have chosen to give birth to a child. So let us raise in a right way. Let us model healthy behaviors to the child. I'm not talking about substance use in many other aspects also. Maybe that is a sacrifice as a parent we may have to do. Yeah, I also I had to learn this fact, with a very late, but early signs we have to recognize immediately, seek help. Teachers also have a role to play creating drug-free schools. There is something in our future project we are trying to do is helping empowering teachers with a taught. There is a manual for substance use prevention in school setting by NISD. It is our central government body. We wanted to help teachers how to identify warning signs. Here also, lot of teachers. I have seen one case where the teacher has gone through some webinar like this, and then she identified one child who was 95 plus. Suddenly he stopped coming to he comes to the campus but doesn't enter the classroom, and he's always seen, under a tree or back of or near the washroom kind of thing. But she took that extra effort to understand what is happening with the child, and then after a few days of observing, she understood that something is wrong with the child. He's very lazy, lethargic, not active, and apathetic, and he's looking through the people and smiling to himself. That is where she felt something wrong, because she could identify the early signs. Immediately, she reported to the parents, authorities. Authorities, with the evidence, they have filmed him, what he's been doing. Yes, he's into cannabis use. Immediately, they have referred him to the de-addiction center. Good thing that at the early phase they could, take that initiative. If they feel, if teacher felt it's none of my business is only to teach children and go away, my work is done. And the parent, or not parent, the principal also felt, hey, as long as he does this kind of activities, I will suspend and then let him come back after getting better. I don't think he would have really changed. So the collective effort has helped this bright child not getting deep into the problem and then getting back into the normalcy. So this is where the teachers can do when they observe all these, identify these early signs. Uh, Always don't shame, name the child, please maintain the confidentiality, non-judgmental attitude, which is lacking in lot of the teachers. That is where we want to train the teachers. You observe, you preserve the confidentiality, you report in a right mechanism. Don't try to spread the rumors among the teachers, because you are crushing the chances for him to become better in future. So this is we are trying to do with the help of our project, with this training of teachers. uh, the communication is key again. Let's talk, but how? We have to have empathy. That is what, when we are into this training, we want to emphasize, and people here also can pick up. It is the qualities which we need to have. Actively listen, don't judge, you support. This is what we teach even parents also. The underlying is you want to help your child not to get into the problem. So maybe you have to learn how to be non-judgmental, how to be open. Empathy, validation, active listening is very, very important. At least you are connected or bonded with the child, and the chances for the child to listen. Because even if you put in a rehab, we have to apply all these qualities. And then that's the only way, evidence-based practices we have to deal. Punitive way, we cannot really bring change in the person. And the prevention strategies, what actually helps. I was talking about evidence-based approaches. There is life skills programs, peer programs, school policies. This is what the schools have started, the Prahari groups, or the anti-drug abuse committees, ADCs we say, and the safety school clubs. So they are doing their part. They are bringing the policies and making the policy very clear to the children. And lot of educational institutions, when ma'am said, like, we did ADCs, all the UG and PG universities have done a kind of an induction program where they emphasized it's not just 100 pages booklet you give about the policies, but rather focus it induction program in every college, where you say, hey, what are do's and don'ts, what happens if you see. So the child or the student is informed. We are making them make an informed choices here. So here, these are the resources where life skills education, peer-led intervention, will be using, and the clear consequences we will say about the School Safety Club, Prahari Club, Suraksha Kavach. These are the various programs we are running in Hyderabad. Engaging youth in art, sports, community action. That is again part of our prevention strategy we are trying to do. It's not just you go and give a lecture on a World Drug Day, but rather engage the students in various activities where they will come up with their own creative way of how to stay away from the substances. So ma'am has focused very clearly about what our law says and where to get help. Yes, you're not alone. Help is closer than you think, in your fingertips. There are a lot of helpline numbers. TGNB ma'am has given the number. Please note down. And there are school counselors. I think CBSE has made it mandatory that there should be a school counselor. So reach out, talk about your child when you identify any signs, collaborate with the school authorities, see that if at all you needed help, you can reach out to de-addiction centers or online counseling. This is where I'll be available also. You can take down this number and reach out to me. In summary, I would say that these are the resources I have picked up this information. Strong mind, safe choices. For students, be informed, know the risks, understand the brain development, identify warning signs, make a smart choices. 3R I was talking about, refuse, resist, report. Avoid risky situations, focus on goals and activities. Support your friends, encourage healthy behaviors, be positive, speak up. You have a trusted adult or a person whom you can ask for help. So this is what peer-led intervention groups does. So this is in summary. In call for action, this is a Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. You can take a pledge. It's an online e-pledge. You can start up the momentum. So being choosing a drug-free life. And everyone is responsible. Today, it's not just youth, parents, law enforcement agencies, and a lot of other organizations. Collectively, we can do something about it and see that we keep our community drug free. And thank you so much. I want to end this, the PPT with the quote. Today, well lived, make every yesterday a memory of happiness and every tomorrow a vision of hope. This quote is given by Kalidasa, not by me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was a really nice presentation, and thank you so much for your insights and experience. Before we move on to the Q&A, I'd like to just take 30 seconds of your time for a quick poll. This will help us get to know you better and tailor future topics that we bring to you. A big thanks to everyone here today. Your presence and participation means a lot to us. While you fill out the poll, I also want to extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed speakers, DCP Shilpa and Dr. Devika Rani K, for sharing their valuable time and insights with us. While everyone is filling the poll, I'd like to also mention the future talks that we are bringing in before we move on to the Q&A. We have Dr. Sumitra Velluri, Professor, Arya University. She's going to speak on Chaturshashti Kalas, 64 Kalas of Ancient India, a journey through 64 traditional arts of Bharata's legacy. This is on 12th July, Saturday, 11 a.m. Post that, we have Dr. Shashiral Rawal, landscape architect and ecological planner, ex-head of Department of Architecture, MS University, Baroda. He's going to speak on types of ecologies, 19th July. We have Mr. PG Bhatt, professor at RVU, Professor PG Bhatt, I must say. He's going to speak on bridging the gap, teaching Gen Z with heart, humor, and hands-on approaches, 26th July 2025. You'll see the registration link soon on vishwa.org. Kindly stay updated with our website. and also our Instagram. I'd like to now invite Vishwas founder Shravani Malapadi to take the session forward and initiate the Q&A. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Namaste. Thank you, Trishant. That was a wonderful talk. And thank you, Dr. Devika and Dr. Shilpavalli. It's an important topic. And to work in this field and to be passionate and to be committed is a big thank you to both of you. I want to tell the participants that generally when there is an overrun at Vishwa, we seek permission from you. But this time I have taken the liberty to ask Dr. Devika to continue with the talk, because the talk is extremely important. It is also something that people are not comfortable to share with asking questions. So I took the liberty to ask the people to talk. So I hope you all don't mind. With this, yes, Shmel, would you like to ask your question? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting presentations and very important presentation, very important topic. And I want to ask a question. How, according to your opinion, improvement social and economic well-being can support prevention drug addiction among young people?
You're saying that the social and economic well-being of people, how is it going to impact the drug issue? Is that your question?
How this can support prevention drug addiction among young people?
Okay.
How social and economic well-being can assist in solving drug issues amongst people.
Ma'am, would you like to answer that question? Dr. Devika, would you like to answer the question? I think
Shilpa ma'am is trying. Ma'am,
Ms. Shilpa, you have to unmute yourself if you're talking, answering this question.
yeah.
Can you please put the question again? I couldn't get it clearly.
How could social and economic well-being of individuals assist in prevention of drug abuse?
Okay, how social and economic well-being
Of an
helps
individual.
in preventing drug abuse, right?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so social economic well-being, if we take it as a whole subject, if we really understand what well-being is, apart from just standards that we typically define for socio-economic status. So yes, definitely the stable livelihoods, it reduces vulnerability. So as we see, there are two sections of people who get into this drug abuse. There are the extreme, on the two extreme sides of the society, where poor get into this drug abuse because of the various
Accessibility.
yeah, not accessibility. It is to cope with their, excuse me. Sorry for that. So yes, wherefore, like we see in this migrant labor or socially or economically downtrodden people, where the trend has been that from tobacco, from alcohol, they're also getting into cheap or more available drugs like ganja. There are also extremely well-off people of this section of the society who are getting into the different kind of drugs like high-end drugs like LSD, um,
MDMA.
yes, all these kinds of ones. So the purpose is here it is for solacing their anxieties and their depression and all. Here it is like for entertainment and uh, the purpose is also different. So definitely stable livelihoods will reduce the vulnerability amongst the lower sections of people. And when we speak about well-being, education and awareness is a very important factor, which will help in improving skills, critical thinking, knowing about the risks and the consequences of drug abuse. Now, when we mean social well-being, we also mean close bonds amongst the members of the society, whether it is family, whether in the neighborhood, whether it is in the community. We speak about these kind of cohesion in the community, which helps in not just preventing, but also where we said early intervention, where we said about, the supervision and guidance that has to be given to the youngsters these days. Then, of course, this kind of social cohesion will come only when the above two factors, stable livelihoods and good education, is available. Now, where we have to go with mental health support. One thing is we should come out of the taboo about mental health. So when we come out of it, when we prioritize well-being, well-being is not just we can't see it in terms of purely economic terms. Well-being is social, well-being is physical, well-being is mental health also, which forms a very important part of this. So where we get into stress management techniques or counseling services, or where we self-medication, like maybe yoga, meditation, all these things also help in dealing with trauma, anxiety, depression, or any other vulnerable factors which tend the youngsters to get into the drug abuse. And of course, with all these, there is also reduced crime. There is an increase in safer environment, safer neighborhood in the in and around the families or neighborhood, which makes it difficult for drug traffickers or peddlers or the supply chains to get into the society, to get into the uh, our own household or community. Now, where we have positive recreational activities like art, like sports, like cultural interventions, which are very much neglected kind of these days. I would say most of these are in limelight only when there is a social media hype for it. It is not for a social media hype. It is for our mental solace. It is for our own mental well-being, of course, including physical well-being, where all these kinds of interventions also help in giving a positive. These are all positive interventions. When we are saying, we have to say, when we are saying youngsters have to keep themselves away from certain things, we also have to say what they have to get into to keep these from, to be, away from all these. So these kind of positive recreation models and activities, they definitely reduce the the allure for drug culture. And of course, with all this kind of social and economic well-being, we see empowered and educated and aware youth or members of the society, where we seek we seek some purpose in our lives. We have some ambition. We know our self-worth. We don't want to waste our lives. We don't want to, just lead the lives, just go with the wind. Instead of that, when we are goal oriented, when we are hopeful, when we know how to deal with this we have, these kind of, this kind of mindset will definitely help in having stronger minds. Like in the last poster, we have seen stronger minds. It will definitely help in this kind of drug influence in the youngsters. youngsters. Now, of course, with better social and economic well-being, when the society is empowered this way, they can also demand the institutions and the government for better legislations, for better actions from their side. And when all these also people are, the government is nothing but what the person it is made of. So definitely there will be a change of mindset, change of policy, a better policy making, which aims at all these factors from the government and institutions also. Maybe I'm not too elaborate.
No, no, ma'am, you were perfect.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So what age groups are the people who are taking drugs? From what age group are they starting to take drugs?
We have seen as early as 10 years of age. We have cases. I would say the government has started a child rehab centers. That itself is an indicator that we have a big problem with the children under 18 years getting into the substance use disorders. It's not just drug use, you put them into rehab unless they get into a phase. That's a third phase where they are dysfunctional or disabled, or lot of losses have happened where we need to rehabilitate them for a long period of time. So we are seeing that age group from 10 onwards. And another thing I would say, in Hyderabad, when we are doing with the project, we are talking to the student community. We happen to see the e-cigarette vaping machines have been in a big use. And we also see the students themselves are a dealers of buying and purchasing and selling to their co-students. So this is another problem has come into limelight like last since 1 year. So we are also focusing. You all know that e-cigarettes are banned in our India, but how they are procuring and how much they hack, the technology they are buying online, the trends are like, the student community who are in well versed with this dark net also buying the substances. So this is another trend we are seeing. So yeah, there is lot of all of us, from various uh, perspectives, we need to be vigilant and then see that we can address this issue.
Ma'am, is there any statistics as to 10 years, this is the percentage, or if they're teens, this is the percentage, in their old age, this is the percentage? One statistic, and the other statistic is which economical group is more susceptible to this? Are there any statistics?
No, ma'am, because when UNODC or even the MSJE websites, if you go through, I think ma'am has presented the statistics there. We see from 10 to 25 years, if you say the youth. So that is the range they will say. They don't have an exclusive like 10-year old people, how many are there and all that. That kind of statistics are not available. Ma'am, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I agree with you because they look at a larger range of age than specifically cutting it between 10 to 20 or 20 to 30.
So the most susceptible in between a 10-year to 80-year-old, we can say is 10 to 25-year-old or 10 to 30?
10 to 25, ma'am. That is what is you have seen the statistics which were presented. Yes.
Sir, would you like to unmute yourself, Mr. Vasant Kumar?
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
You can hear me, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Both the speakers were super in their approaches. They know the realities of our life. And we must really compliment. You have chosen ladies to come and represent this. That's where the crux of the problem lies. Because it's the lady of the house who keeps a very close watch on the children and their behavior. And they have done a wonderful job, no doubt. I have a few questions. I hope you will allow me to. One is tobacco. As we talked about age group. I have myself surveyed in Mysore about 15 schools, stood outside, and there were people who were smoking just outside in the shop. And when the children go to purchase some toffees or something like that, they get the smell of cigarettes. And that gives them an indirect, they are smokers. That is the starting of the point. The tobacco is starting point for all other abuses. When something is bad for the society, is it correct for the government to allow production, manufacturing, and marketing of such deadly products like tobacco and drugs, etc.? That is one. Second, by sharing profits with tobacco industry, by levying taxes on tobacco. Once again, by levying taxes on tobacco products, has the government become a partner in killing people under IPC 299 to 302, culpable homicide not amounting to murder? Third, as convener of Anti-Tobacco Forum in Mysore and resource person, why government is adopting dual standards in honoring WHO, FCTC, and COTPA acts? Why it is not helping farmers to adopt alternate remunerative crops instead of killing their brothers as required in guidelines 17 and 18 of
Too many
FCT?
questions. Start with one, let it be answered, then you can go to another topic.
Okay, I've given 3 questions.
Yes, let that be
Right
answered.
now. So tobacco is starting point. Is it correct for the government to allow production, manufacturing, and marketing?
I want to just say a word out here. You know, it's a very pertinent question. And when Vishwa is promoting such talks on Facebook and Instagram, we get banned. And in fact, you know, we have a good following, but we are unable to reach anybody. Whoever has come onto the talk today has come at their own so some pertinent topics may not be very easy for everybody to answer, but I leave it to the speakers. Yes.
No, they did mention in the beginning itself that tobacco is the starting point for drug abuse.
Yes, yes.
That has given me this lead.
No,
And it is
perfect. Very good question. Very good question. Yes.
All right. First one is
let them answer. Let them answer.
Marketing, production, manufacturing, and marketing of such deadly products. Government is allowing.
Devika sir, shall I take it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So with respect to the question why government is not banning or still encouraging the production, manufacture and all, see, there is a difference between regulation and prohibition. I feel in India, tobacco is heavily regulated. There are high taxes, there are warnings, there are restrictions on advertisements and all. Now, you may say this is not enough. Yes, but probably in Indian context, the government feels that kind of responsible regulation is better than a total ban, which would, ultimately lead to some kind of black marketing or smuggling and all these kind of activities which we have seen when states have banned alcohol. So I think there is a reasonable regulation with respect to this area of law, tobacco regulation. And see, second thing is there is something called personal freedom and choice. So obviously it is banned to sell alcohol and tobacco to minors. Now, when we are speaking about adults, that is why we speak about education, awareness, informed choices, informed decisions. Now, who is stopping everyone from taking alcohol? Who is stopping everyone from taking tobacco? When you stop, when there is less demand, there is less supply, when there is, it is, all related. I can't take the onus on behalf of the whole government. I'm just one single employee in this department. But personally, even I feel tobacco and alcohol are the gateway drugs. They are the seemingly unharmful items which people, including those who are aware, who are educated, consider them not to be a problem with in the context of drugs. When we see somebody, one of our friends or somebody, if he's taking alcohol, do we say, are you taking drug? Do we say that? No. We say, in fact, fashionably, social drinking. What is social drinking? It's an alcohol after all. What is it? So it is also, it's a democratic country. We can't, we can't totally ban certain things, and we can only educate, we can only regulate to the most extent. And with respect to probably there has
299
to
to
be a stronger
302.
public will.
299 to 302.
I think I've answered your one question.
Yes, ma'am. Right now, okay, ma'am, because I know you cannot take decisions on your own, and government has to take it as a policy decision. We do understand, but their adopting double standards is not something which can be appreciated by people. It's like keeping a toffee in front of a child and telling that not to smoke, not to eat it because it gives you bad teeth. So don't keep the toffee there. That is what our
that's
argument.
a statement you have made. The question is already answered.
Okay.
What is the
Sir,
next question?
299 to 302. IPC. Culpable homicide not amounting to murder. By levying taxes, government is getting money. And it is also killing people.
So what is your question about it? Because
The question is, can I charge the government of under IPC 299 to 302?
That's a question for a lawyer.
No, ma'am. Law and order.
You mean why government cannot be charged under 302 or murder not amounting culpable homicide, right?
As in,
because
can he put a FIR on based on those?
Put an FIR on the government. Okay. That's extreme.
No, I don't know. That is correct.
Okay, fine. See, okay. To speak technically or legally, murder requires intent. There is no intention in this. Government intends that by allowing regulated sale of tobacco or alcohol.
No, excuse me, ma'am. Its intention is getting money.
That the government intends to kill the people.
No, getting the money.
Of course, it is a legal substance as of now. It has not. It is not banned totally, right? So there is a difference between ethical responsibility and legal responsibility, I think. So, and legally also, we can't directly connect the probable deaths out of tobacco or drug abuse with the government or its policies. There is a extent to which we can relate both of them. So I think, yeah, you can always choose the legal ways of public interest litigation or leading a big social media campaign through which, we can put our demand before the government. But I don't think charging the government or putting an FIR against the government is not legally also possible.
I had put a PIL against the government itself that they are giving subsidies to grow tobacco. It should be stopped. And on 1/1/2016, PIL High Court of Karnataka gave an order that the government should inspect all those things and report. But till today, it's almost on 1/6/2025, it is 10 years, no action has been taken. This is the kind of response for our PILs and respect. And another
I
thing,
think I am not competent to answer that. The appropriate forum also.
Okay, ma'am. Another thing is, Mr. Shumal mentioned about economic well-being of people. Just imagine, ma'am, there are 28% of people smoke in India. That comes to some every day, billions of cigarettes are sold. Just imagine 200 rupees is the packet into 31 days, into 12 months, into 40 years. That is the probable period during which a person smokes. That comes to about 29 lakhs 76,000 rupees. that much of money has been burnt by a single person. Is this the way in which it has to be handled? It's a cancer, it's a burden, health burden for the government, and it is a health burden for the family also. Family is losing money. All these things can be avoided provided government takes a serious decision about at least gradual reduction, 20% acreage reduction every year, 20% license withdrawal, 20% balance surrender, and Guntur is number 1 in FCB production. Mysore is number 2, and every time we see all tobacco companies reporting wonderful profits. They have never, and the government says that we are doing everything that is possible to reduce tobacco consumption. But where is the answer? If tobacco companies continue to make huge profits, nothing is being actually done. Can we expect something?
I'll answer this question. Mr. Vasant Kumar, I think you're a great leader. For a citizen to take on such a big responsibility is amazing. And such dedication, and imagine you've got a PIL 10 years ago, and you're still pursuing it. My namaste to you. But
Thank you.
Dr. Devika and Ms. Shilpavali are equally committed as you are to the cause. But we also need to understand their constraints, talk in public. We also need to we also need to respect that, yes, this is what's so. And they are doing in everything in their capacity, just as committed as you are in the same subject. In fact, they are creating awareness in the area of drug abuse and putting as much effort as you are. Putting them in a spot doesn't help either of us. Yeah, 1 second. Yes, doctor, you could please.
Yeah, sir, what I would like to do is the whole presentation or coming to this platform and talking about is empowering ourselves. That is what, see, we all are cognitive beings. We can make our own decisions. So what we are trying to reach any sect of people, okay, you make your own choice. Instead of waiting for somebody to come and make a changes and then change me, I will like to make my own decisions and bring on change in my life. So that is what I think everybody in this platform can do. I know what we are doing is a water drop on an ocean, but yeah, that is a change. That is a beginning. That is what we can do. Instead of sitting and then talking about, yes, ethical responsibility, as ma'am has told, we have our personal choice, but that doesn't, should stop from doing what we are doing. If it is against to somebody also, I believed in the cause and I'm doing it. Yes, how much I can do within my capacities is what we are trying to bring out. Here your questions is like, because ma'am is wearing uniform, you ask, definitely, you know, as a citizen, we are all part of the policy making. You and me also part of the policy making. But maybe it is not clearly what you said is brought in the policy and all, because majority concern will be taken into account at that point of time. But here, we will be wasting even 2-3 hours. We talk about it. I don't think we arrive at any kind of conclusion. Yeah, once upon a time, I was in your chair and then waiting for somebody to come and bring change, But yeah, that perspective has changed. I have, as a perspective of a psychologist, I think I can empower people to make their own choices. That is where I am trying to do. Yes, what I'm trying to do, even for out of 100, 1-2 people change, that is a big change for me, because I don't have a big expectations and all. But yes, all of us can bring out that kind of a chain, and our topic, it's a break the chain, just don't get succumb to it and wait for, when you question this, we all get like demotivated. Hey, whatever we do, what is the point kind of thing. So we stopped doing all that kind of thing. And then, hey, as an individual, what is that I can do in order to bring change in myself and the people around me. Even in the 200 students, they don't, I'm not in an illusion that I give a talk and everybody will make a right choice. No, even in that, at least I can prevent few new users. That is an achievement for me. With that only, I'm able to sustain in this field for 25 years. not affecting my mental health and emotional health, yeah, I may continue doing it because my focus is on making people empower with the right information, right knowledge, right resources. All this is what I can do and help them to make an informed and a right choice. That's all we are doing, sir.
Even I have tried, ma'am, in YouTube. You can just
Ma'am,
key in 1 second. 1 second. No, I have tried how to give up smoking in 8 hours. That was premiered in YouTube on 1/1/2015. It can be seen in the YouTube. You can search in my name, Vasant Kumar Mysurmat.
sure, sir. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So I'd also like to mention that tobacco has been being consumed since thousands of years, and our lives are tiny as such. And to cause any kind of change that would like sort of ban or anything, you're basically questioning consumerism, and it's very difficult to do that in a short lifespan. As you questioned tobacco in your whole life, consumption of tobacco, there's many other substances like that in question. I can give you an example of cannabis. We have consumed cannabis for thousands of years in our history. It effectively came into ban because of the UN, or especially because of capitalization they did on the herbs. Now, I'm not talking about the compounds that give you the high, but I'm also talking about the compounds that are medicinal. CBD is cannabinoid. It's a medicinal element in the plant itself, whereas THC is the substance that gives you the high. US basically forced UN to ask whole of the world to regulate their cultivation, production, and everything. And post 1985, we had our acts to effectively ban cannabis production, cultivation, in all of its forms. Post 30 years, the same US has legalized it for recreational use and for medicinal purposes. Basically, they got us to ban it, capitalized on the whole crop, the whole market all over the world, and then came to and they
Recognize it.
eventually legalized it because it's got major medicinal properties that the big pharmas won't let you depend upon. So
So we are helpless.
so the question, when you ask why isn't tobacco stopped, it's not stopped because nobody tells you this, but it is a temporary dopamine release element. That is what it basically does. It will
Plus cancer.
absolutely carcinogens are anywhere. Your Teflon frying pans are basically carcinogenic. So everything you consume. But one could question, why are you consuming water? It's so addictive. But that's not the point I'm trying to make here right now. I'm trying to tell that we are forming legal frameworks depending on many other countries. We are seeing other countries' consumerism, and our legal laws are being framed eventually. So it's time that we put in our own research and we call out these substances.
1 second, Trishant. Let me just make it very clear. Constitution says 21 and 47. Notwithstanding anything contained in your protection attitude of any class of people, what remains supreme is the health of the people, and it is for the people only. You cannot overrule that. All these things are secondary. Sorry,
sir, I'll tell you, opiates give morphines, right? So morphines are used
I'm not
for
talking about
painkillers.
I'm not talking about a particular thing.
Ketamines are extremely addictive substances, even more addictive than, say, tobacco. But it is used for psychological illnesses. It
Sugar
is used for
is also
treatments.
addictive.
No.
Sugar also causes
Sugar is
cancer.
addictive. Absolutely. You
So
can
what can we
have
stop from? Everything
you-
has its positive and negative effects, right?
you can
It's
have
all-
too much tobacco.
It's
You
all
can
our
have
choice, finally. What
can have too
kind of
much.
lifestyle we have, what we want to have.
True. You can have too much tomato, you can get kidney stone. You can have too much cabbage, you can get kidney stone. There are so many substances. Basically, if you
You mean
go-
to say that reduced smoking is good for health?
No, I'm absolute. No, don't put words in my mouth, sir. I'm sorry. But what I'm saying is, you're questioning consumerism and you're asking the wrong people about consumerism. You are asking two individuals who are working in the same direction as you to stop consumption.
This is a
To reduce
public
consumption.
platform. I have come on a public platform
Absolutely.
where that's exactly. I appreciate this. No doubt about it. They are well-known people with responsibility and all. I cannot question them of these fundamental questions are not required, no doubt about it. But the way in which these things should be known to others also.
True,
It is
true.
not only the question of protecting a particular industry. It is not. It's actually building its mansions on the dead bodies of people.
So we'll have to question big pharmas for that. We'll have to directly question bigger leaders for that.
No,
It's
there
very
are. So there are facilities and amenities available. For example, 17 and 18. 17 of the FCTC says promote alternate crops. 18 says protect environment. You know what's happening with these cigarette filters? Cellulose acetate, non-biodegradable, and it remains for 800 to 1,000 years. And what's happening? Coral reefs are dying, fish are dying, and it's becoming toxic. And there are so many minor things that are happening with regard to why not ban?
So
At
all
least
of those things
gradually.
are also happening because excessive use of fertilizers, pesticides used for farming for our needs, for crops that we eat, and all of those things also basically destroy coral reefs and our whole ecological balance. Doesn't mean we can stop farming, right?
Not for me. Don't use chemical fertilizers. You use
Sir,
organic and
it's
grow.
about demand supply. That's the thing. It's the demand supply. If there is a demand,
You supply.
people will supply. People are not. I mean,
Now,
farmers
don't you
are.
think the topic has changed from drug
Yes.
abuse to cancer prevention?
True.
Sorry,
Apologies for that.
sorry. Don't mistake.
Yeah.
I am hurt. Why
No,
this double standard by government?
Kumarji, I am in awe of the kind of effort you're putting in. Amazing to see such citizens in the country fighting for such causes. I totally get your pain. I totally get your expression of what you're going through. It's amazing. Right.
I'm 83, ma'am. I just want to leave before I could do something about tobacco.
No, fantastic. The efforts you're putting in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anything else, or can we go on to the next question? Sure, thank you. So, ma'am, next question is, how much, like sir was saying that 28% of the country's population smokes. How much percentage of drug addiction is there in our country? Any idea?
Devika is more into studies and numbers.
So if you are talking about the recent statistics, I'm trying to bring it down. One second.
While you're doing that, another question I have is, which states in India are susceptible to more drug abuse?
The famous or infamous Punjab,
Okay.
Kerala.
northeastern states. Then I think the highest is in Mizoram, as per a study which has seen. Surprisingly, the northeastern states are more, used to drug abuse. Then probably, what would you add, Devika Garu? Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland from the northeast, UP, Bihar, probably even in rural areas, we find this because of the poverty and the poor mental health.
Ma'am, I will just share.
And also Goa. I'm not speaking in terms of statistics, but it is a general study, general perception we have from law enforcement angle.
This is something the local statistics, ma'am. World, Asia, India. This is Indian map. 1 second. So, ma'am, hope you can see this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a prevalence rate. Sikkim seems to be high. Himachal, all this belt with Odisha again next. This is about the cannabis, ma'am.
Yes, this is just one
Generally
substance.
also the Manipur, the Northeast, why I'm saying is it is closer to that Golden Triangle area. The
Yeah.
access, the import, the trafficking routes are more towards northeastern states.
And you have asked, ma'am, reported addicts in India. Usually, our Ministry of Social Justice Empowerment take, every 10 years they will take the statistics, national survey, they will do population survey. So they will be using some form called DAMS and they will be taking this. According to them, 44% of reported addicts in India trying to give up drugs, but only 25% receive treatment. And again, these statistics are reported. I'm talking about a lot of unreported people will be there, and even the rehabilitation centers, which fall into, I think somebody have answered. Go to the MSJE website. What are the government is doing? They are supporting rehabilitation centers. Every state they have given the provisions and the funding. So according to those statistics only, this is given. But I would say that what you are seeing the figures and what actual figures always differ. As a researcher, I would say that this is about the conviction part. Yeah. You have asked this question, ma'am. Only 25% of the people are receiving treatment in India.
And conviction, you were saying how many are convicted?
This is again NCRB stats. This is 2020 tak, ma'am. The next one has to come after new reported cases. So these are the things. I think ma'am should be knowing NCRB data.
I should check.
Yeah.
So around 40 to 50,000 people across the country are.
Yes. It will be more, ma'am, because there will be another new presentation. You can ask, ma'am, the resources as TGANB, their website, you can go. They will be keep on giving the conviction rate and how many people they have booked under this case, how many peddlers and how many consumers are booked. All this, our local state government, you can go to the TGANB site, ma'am.
Is there a connection between the Manipur unrest and drug lords and
No idea.
Not much well versed with this.
Yeah.
okay.
But with respect to conviction rates, what I would like to add is, I can't tell about the exact figures right now, but definitely the conviction percentage under NDPS Act is more than any other general, presently BNS, earlier IPC, or any other acts because of the detailed and specific procedures that are elaborated in the NDPS Act. So where the police officer goes as per the given procedure, prescribed procedure in the Act, that will suffice the courts to give the conviction. So that is why I say it's a very elaborate and beautiful act that empowers the police and helps the prosecution in getting or securing more conviction.
Ma'am, can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, Trisha.
Ma'am, so I live in Gujarat, which is supposedly a dry state, and I have lived in Hyderabad too. I've lived in Mumbai, I've lived in Pune, Bangalore as well. And I don't see why this is called a dry state because there's very crazy alcohol consumption. The acts, like they protect, the acts how they empower the cops to enforce law in other states, it's not the same here is what I feel. Or somewhere I see that a lot of bigger powerful beings are complicit because they make more money through the illegal trade rather than the rather than taxing it and get it regularized. So it's banned here essentially. So because of that, none of the money that comes because of alcohol actually goes into the state development or the city's development, infrastructure development. It straight away goes into political leaders' pockets, or I don't know, different kinds of officials. So in that case, if I really want to report such a situation to anybody higher up or anything outside the state, how do I really go about it? Because it's basically corruption, right?
Your voice is not clear actually.
Am I audible now?
You're audible, but the voice is not crisp and
Okay.
clear.
Now I was saying that
Can you just type
Gujarat
it
is,
in?
yeah, sure. Shivani ma'am, you can go on. Take the next
Dityesh
question.
Mittal, would you unmute yourself and ask your question? Ensure that it's quiet around you. Unmute yourself and ask your question.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes. Trishant, you need to mute yourself when you type it. Yes.
I thank both Dr. Ma'am and DCP Ma'am for your valuable time you all have given to this. My question is that what kind of treatment are available in India other than narcotics and anonymous rehabilitation centers and medications? What are other available treatments in India? I would like to know.
Nitesh, I told you, I think, I don't know, somebody I have messaged. There is lot of rehabilitation centers are funded by our central government, also some state government. Each state has few allotted rehabilitation centers. People who cannot afford can go there. And Narcotic Anonymous is the one for the sustenance of recovery. आपका treatment, once you are done with your medication or detoxification and the counseling process, then that is where you will be going for the sustenance to maintain your status of sobriety. ठीक है? What is available? These are the government. There are a lot of private institutions like de-addiction centers under Mental Health Act. Psychiatric hospitals also run the de-addiction centers. There are a lot of rehabilitation centers run by the NGOs where they will be charging, or some people will be charging minimal, or they are aided or free. आपको अगर पूरा इसका लिस्ट चाहिए, यू जस्ट गो लॉग इन टू द MSJE वेबसाइट, आपको पूरा लिस्ट मिलेगा. Private and all, locally, wherever you are staying, I think you can go through it through your Google or any directory of services. Nitish, you are mute.
Ma'am, I know about those, but main thing is that there are loopholes in de-addiction centers which are privately running, or both in government done, like they are giving medicines and all, but there are many loopholes.
Uske liye, I don't understand what are the loopholes and all, but Nitish, you can reach me out through Vishwa. Later, you can get a clarification of. But what are available resources? These are the things. वो सही कर रहे, गलत कर रहे, उसका चर्चा अलग करेंगे हम.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
हाँ.
Ma'am, I have one question with DCP ma'am also. Ma'am, like in India, we see there are many people who are caught by police during having substances or doing illegal peddling and all. But the peddlers are not given such sentence more than 6 months. As you told, there are small types of quantities, medium. How do we know what are the small? Because about 100 grams of heroin are also those who are caught with 100 grams of heroin, they are also let go after 3 to 6 months.
As I have shared already in the PPT, if you see, we have a list of substances in the Schedule A of the NDPS Act, and the punishment is proportionate to the quantity of drugs that are available when the arrest happens or when the seizure happens. So, as I have already shared, the small, medium, and commercial quantities will vary from substance to substance. In cases of ganja, it differs, and the substance which is with respect to ganja, it may be more than, which is in case of like 50 grams of ganja, is not equivalent to 50 grams of cocaine. Cocaine is more dangerous. It is considered a more serious substance. So the kind of punishments that are prescribed for small, medium, and commercial, it definitely depends on the quantity that is available at the time of arrest and seizure with the concerned peddler. Now, the law says the imprisonment is up to 6 months. Imprisonment is up to 10 years. Only in case of commercial quantity, it is less, not be less than 10 years. And up to whether it is when we say a peddler is found with 1 kg of some substance and it comes under medium in that particular category, he can give the rigorous imprisonment up to 10 years. He can give it for 1 month, 6 months, 1 year. We can't, force him to give a particular amount of sentence.
Thank you so much. Ma'am, Dr. DCP C. Shipavalli Garu and Dr. Devika Rani Garu, excellent. I appreciate your commitment for such a wonderful cause. Thank you so much for coming on to Vishwa Talks and sharing openly and courageously the entire gamut of the drug abuse and the prevention for it and the solutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice connecting with you all.
Prashant, you take over. Yeah. You unmute yourself.
I'd like to thank everybody who's been part of this session. I request the speakers to join into the breakout room link that will pop up on your screen in a moment. I request all the participants to stay updated with all of our activities that are going to come up in the successive weeks. Please register yourselves on vishwa.org for the future talks. And you can reach out to us via mail. My mail ID is in the chat box.
Close. I think you can leave. You can leave.
Ma'am, is there a breakout room link on your screen?
Breakout room link. Maybe you have to send it again.
I'll just send it to you right.
And to answer your question, Prashant, yes, that's the reason precisely why AP has first gone for prohibition and then again got back to make it legal but regulated.
True, ma'am. Ma'am, and there's so much development in Hyderabad. I can understand that the government can utilize the tax money in a very effective way. Here, it's really sad, actually. I'll just send just a moment. As a package too. Can you see if there's a pop-up of breakout room link on your screen? Yes, thank you. Okay,